Welcome back to the Rural Opportunities podcast. In this episode, I talked to Matt and Graff, who are fifth-generation farmers that believe everyone should have the opportunity to experience a farm. They started FARMZY to help connect people to farm experiences and to help farms share their unique story and experience. Their goal is to promote Alberta agriculture while making it easy for farms to promote their products and services. If you are looking to go on a farm adventure or are a farm and want to share the experience, FARMZY is a platform for you. If you remember Jake of Vermeer Dairies on episode 4, through this podcast we were able to connect FARMZY with Jake, and he has had several successful tours of his dairy farm with FARMZY. Not only do we talk about rural opportunities on this podcast, but we are helping to make rural opportunities happen. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Well, welcome to the Rural Opportunities podcast.
Thank you. Hey, glad to be here this morning.
It's great to have you on. I will get you guys to start off by introducing yourselves, whichever one of you wants to go first.
Yeah, sounds good. And I'm Matt Graff.
And I'm Graff.
And I could tell you a little bit about us and our farm to start, if that's a good way to kick things off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So we are farming brothers in the Farintosh and New Norway area, which is just southeast of Camrose. And we are fifth generation farmers and proud to be farming land that has been farmed by both sides of our parents' families now for several generations. Our farm has traditionally been a mixed cattle and grain operation, but we made the decision to switch solely to grain production in 2012. On our farm, we grow a mixed variety of crops, such as peas, barley, wheat, canola, and beans on occasion as well. So that's a little bit about our farm. Graham and I, obviously, we work together on our farm, and we grew up working together as well and doing a lot of different things together. So we've always been pretty close. And whether it was playing pond hockey with friends, competitive game at basketball, being involved in a local 4-H club, or working together during harvest, shoveling grain, running equipment, we really have a hard time escaping each other, actually. So, yeah. So these experiences led us both to study business at the U of A, where we lived together, and then our friendship groups became mutual as well. And suddenly we were invited to the same outings, found ourselves in the same wedding parties sometimes. And so our friends have always given us a really hard time for spending so much time together.
Yeah, we never hear the end of that, that's for sure.
That's awesome. So are you guys the only siblings in your family?
No, we have 2 younger siblings as well.
Okay, are they still at the farm?
And they are not involved in the farming operation.
Okay.
They're big fans though, and they like to come back and see what's going on in the farm, and always love coming to visit.
Hey, that's great. Farmers need fans as well.
Totally.
So, tell me more about the business program. Did that have anything to do with ag, and is that kind of how you started into FARMZY?
Yeah, I'll jump in on that one. This is Matt here, and so we've both always had an interest in farming and in agribusiness, and since we've worked well together over the years, it was natural for us both to join the family farm business eventually. But we both were interested in having an education as well, and business was a good fit for us because farming is definitely a business these days. And so after our business education, we joined our parents as partners on the family farm in 2016, and more recently have created our online marketplace business together and launched FARMZY in last summer of 2020.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And what was the inspiration for FARMZY? Where did you see the need?
Great question. And I think it actually also kind of ties back in with school. And so when Matt and I were going to university, we were often the only farmers in classes. And so we would get a lot of people asking to come visit the farm, which we always thought was awesome. And so we loved answering people's questions. And ended up hosting a number of different farm tours, farm parties, and even farm to fork events at our farm with people from school over the years. And at one of those events, even though it was small, we had people from every continent in the world at our farm, actually, thanks to major interest from all of the international students. So that was a cool event that came out of all the interest from school. So that was going on. And then at the same time, we were also seeing a lot of growth from Alberta Open Farm Days. And its year-over-year attendance was really impressive. So in both these ways, we saw huge interest from people to get out in the country, visit farms, and learn more about where their food comes from. However, Alberta Open Farm Days is only a 2-day event in the summer. And when our farm was a host during Alberta Open Farm Days, we heard from many people how difficult it is to access farm experiences as urban people who don't know any farmers. So we realized there was a gap between urban and rural people in understanding food production, and that many non-farming people craved the opportunity to escape the city for rural experiences, but didn't know where to go to find a farm. And so we were happy to hear and see that people were coming, doing over an hour drive to come to our farm for that event. And so with these insights from a lot of our friends and people in school wanting to come visit the farm, we researched and worked on the business idea for well over 2 years, actually, before finally launching FARMZY last summer during Alberta Open Farm Days 2020. So it certainly wasn't something that happened overnight.
Right, for sure. Yeah, a lot of work goes into that stuff. It's cool that you guys kind of saw a need from your university experience and then were able to come up with a solution for that. That's really cool. What's one of the biggest questions that or most surprising thing that people find when they come to your farm?
Great question. I think that a lot of people are surprised of they don't know what the size of an acre is, right? And so a lot of people are surprised to hear that an acre is the size of a football field. And so just some of those size comparisons are interesting to people. Or, for instance, hearing how much can be grown or produced on an acre, or how many livestock can live on that much land is always fun to tell people about. That's certainly one thing. Yeah, and I know just to add to that, I think that they're quite intrigued by the size and scale of farming these days. And I think that some people expect to come out and kind of go into the past sometimes when they come experience some of these farms if they aren't following current agricultural practices and production. So they see these movies that highlight certain things and kind of dramatize certain areas, but they come out and realize like, oh wow, this is quite modern, and there's a lot of unique and interesting things going on out here that take a lot of technology and a lot of business management and application. So.
Right, the scale of it can be surprising for people who, like, say they live in an apartment. They might not understand the scale of farming, and farms do come in all shapes and sizes, which people might not know either, especially like you're saying, if they get portrayed in movies a certain way.
Yeah. Yes, all shapes and sizes for sure.
Yeah. Do you find it interesting being a grain farm? Like, I think a lot of on-farm experiences tend to be the smaller ones. Like, is there, do people find it that interesting that it's like combines, big fields? Like, how is it a different experience on your farm than, say, like a market garden farm or something like that?
Yeah, good question. And it's just different, and each farm is so different. But I think it's just another experience, right? People these days are so interested in finding something that is unique and experiencing something different than they're used to. So when we participated in Alberta Open Farm Days in the past,
we were actually surprised by the level of interest because, we expect that some of these farms that have animals to offer or vegetables to pick that they can take home, of course, those are very attractive. But people are still really interested in learning about food production in general and learning about some of this equipment that makes that a reality, makes this food production happen. So I think people are really intrigued by that and just the size of some of this equipment these days, right? Especially with conventional farming right now, the size of the combines, tractors, all the sprayers, harvest equipment. People find it fascinating, and we found that people in university that who didn't have experience on the farm were particularly interested in that. They just loved coming to check out the equipment or sit in a combine or ride in a tractor. They just found that fascinating. And we've just found that more and more over time, that realize that people are really interested in this. And if they have a chance to experience something like this, they're going to take advantage of that.
That's really cool. So people are looking for more information about how their food is grown. How does actually experiencing a farm and getting to know your farmer differ from just reading information on the internet? Like, why is it important to get people out to the farm?
Do you want me to take that one?
Sure, Graham.
Yeah. Okay. So there's certainly a lot of misinformation out there these days about modern farming and food production in general. So we believe it's really important for people to visit farms and talk with real farmers about agriculture and learn more about where their food comes from. So in visiting a farm, people can learn to make better and more informed food buying decisions, we feel like. So speaking to a farmer and learning about crops and animals and land directly from them can help you make a more informed decision about the food you're buying. It will also hopefully help you cut through some of the misinformation out there. And so visiting a farm through FARMZY perhaps also means you are directly supporting a farm financially, which is extremely important, as farmers are definitely the backbone of small rural communities. And another thing I'll say is that and another important reason to learn about agriculture from farmers is that there's a great opportunity to learn about environmental stewardship and sustainability from farmers. And we believe it's a really great chance to learn about how farms are taking care of the land these days.
For sure. So where did the name FARMZY come from? How did you come up with it?
Yeah, this is kind of a fun, it was a fun experience to try to come up with the name. And so we wanted a short, catchy, and easy name for people to remember. And so our goal was to make farm adventures easy with this business. And that is now our tagline. And so we felt like adding the Z sound or ZY to the end of farm helped capture the word easy and also highlighted this tagline. So we wanted the name to be fun, and we think that FARMZY was definitely capturing this fun aspect of the business.
I love that. That's awesome.
Okay, thanks.
So what is the benefit of listing a farm on FARMZY? What's the benefit for the farm?
Yeah, so a number of benefits that we see. And overall, the platform is designed to help decrease the cost and time it takes to start an agritourism business. And this platform can be used year-round by farms and rural businesses to attract consumers. So our goal is to promote Alberta agriculture to these consumers who have an interest in agritourism and visiting a farm, but while making it easier for farms to promote their products and services as well. So FARMZY offers these farms a way to market and sell their ag tourism experiences with very little risk. And that's something that we really focus on with our farms who are interested in signing up. So farms and businesses can create and have a listing for free. There's no sign up or annual listing fees. Booking and payments are made and managed through the platform. So visitors book and pay farms directly using a debit or credit card, and then payments are directly deposited into the farm's bank account upon completion of whatever activity or experience that their guest has booked. So we like to think of it as a turnkey agritourism solution. So there's no need for a farm to have a website if they don't have one. But if they do have a website, that's great, because a lot of progressive farms out there are going that route and showcasing what they have to offer. But what we're really focusing on with those farms is using FARMZY for the extra exposure and an extra marketing and sales channel that they might have not considered or had access to before. And another big thing that is a benefit for farms, especially in and amongst the COVID world that we're in, is that FARMZY can provide guest limit control to its farm businesses. So they have full control over the guest numbers at certain times. And so that allows them to easily adhere to government restrictions at any particular time and have full control over who's on their farm and when.
Yeah, that's super helpful, especially right now.
Yeah.
So FARMZY is for people who already have sort of a farm agritourism thing set up on their farm, correct?
No, it is for people who, I guess, for two types of farms that have an agritourism business already set up, and those who do not, who are looking to get into agritourism. So we certainly started it to help get more farms into that industry, to get more people out in the country. So it's for both.
Can you talk a little bit more about the farms that don't have something set up? Like, how are you helping them if agritourism is something that they're interested in?
Yeah, what we're focusing on with some of these farms is a number of the different farms who have expressed interest are looking at a different way to make more revenue and have an additional income stream. So we're focusing on farms already that have done this well and who are have an agritourism experience set up and have had some positive feedback from people who have come and experienced that. And so we want to use those positive experiences that have worked well on other farms and kind of highlight that and showcase what worked and maybe what didn't with farms that are interested, and look at ways that their farm could start to offer an agritourism experience, because a farm might not realize the potential that they have in space until they think outside the box a little bit and see some of these other farms that who are currently doing this.
For sure. So say if a farm has an online store, like maybe they don't have a particular experience at their farm, but they have the store. Is there a benefit for them to list their farm on FARMZY?
We would say absolutely yes. The farms that already have a farm store, either online or physically on their farm, can benefit from FARMZY through extra marketing exposure. So FARMZY can be used to help them also create a new revenue stream through agritourism if they're interested in that. And we believe this in turn can help them bring new customers and more sales to their farm. So we talk a lot about pre-sales with our add-on feature. And so, for instance, a customer could add on, say, meat or eggs or a handcrafted farm good to their cart along with their tour booking through FARMZY. And so if a farm has a farm store and they're interested in agritourism too, we believe that FARMZY could help them make more sales before people even get to their farm gate. And like Matt talked about before, we really feel like FARMZY is a turnkey agritourism business solution for farms who do not, have the time to invest in running their own website. But for these farms that have an online store, it's not meant to replace the online store. A farm can make sales through our add-on feature, but we are focused on farm adventures, tours, and food experiences at the end of the day. And so this means we're focused on helping these farms bring more visitors to their farm gates. And ultimately, we feel like if a farm has a store, that there is also zero risk in listing with us, as well as there is no sign-up or annual fee to listing. And so it's just another thing to try to get more people out to the farm and to that farm store.
Right, you can't go wrong with it. It's kind of like a bonus add-on.
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's super helpful if you can help farms sell stuff prior to people coming on farms, and that'll help them with inventory sometimes too. So that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, and just on that note, we're always open to conversation with the farm and discussing how this could potentially benefit them. And so we're having a lot of, it's not like a farm just shows interest in this and goes to the website and signs up. We're having one-on-one conversations to discuss their farm and how FARMZY could be used on their farm to create that farm experience and ultimately provide them with an additional way to make money and add an income stream to what they're already doing.
That's cool. I love it. So what are some of the biggest challenges to starting an agritourism operation?
There are definitely many challenges. And a lot of them today land in the whole realm of technology and getting your business up and running online, where most things are today. So a few things that surround that are website development and maintenance. So do you hire a developer or try to take the significant time needed to create a website yourself? There is also bookings management, as far as taking those bookings, and especially during COVID where guest limits are required. So the farm needs to decide whether they're going to take those bookings on the phone, which can be very time consuming, or setting up a bookings management system. And along with that, if people are able to book online, they also want to pay online. So setting up a payment gateway, for instance, is a tricky thing these days, so that people can pay with their credit card when they're booking, and this also can come with a significant service fee from the companies that help you set up those payment gateways. So those are some of the technological challenges, and then along with that, there's the whole marketing side, and social media accounts can go a long ways these days. There's lots of awesome farm accounts out there on Facebook and Instagram, and they're doing an awesome job of getting their name out there and spreading awareness of Alberta agriculture. And so that's one great free way to do it. And there's just many other challenges as far as trying to get that word out even further with certain paid advertising. And so that's all of those things we're trying to help solve with FARMZY ultimately, and help them to create that business faster and easier.
Right. Do farms have troubles with insurance? Like, is there any difficulty getting on-farm insurance when you're having people out to the farm?
Yeah, that's a good question. And so FARMZY currently doesn't offer an insurance solution, but we're directing farms to ways to get coverage for themselves, and they're definitely out there. Most major insurance providers provide this type of coverage for events that farms might be putting on. Duo is a good one out there that offers insurance coverage for these types of events, and they're affiliated with the cooperators, I think. And so again, if that comes up with a farm, we're just having a conversation and talking about who their insurance provider might be, and encouraging them to inquire with their insurance provider, because it's easier than people might think, and it's not too expensive either.
Okay, that's good to know.
Just one last on the insurance side, that is a goal of ours too in the future, is to be able to have a group fee available as well, where all farms can be under one policy with our site. And so that's a goal we have down the road that will hopefully be something we can include when farms sign up. And yeah, we're working our way towards that hopefully in the future to make that easier on the insurance front.
For sure. That's awesome. So you had mentioned open farm days before. Can you talk about your relationship with open farm days and a little bit more about what open farm days is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Alberta Open Farm Days essentially is a province-wide open house. So participating farms open their farm gates for the general public to come and experience these farm operations. And so for this event, admission to the farm is always free. But farms do have the opportunity through Alberta Open Farm Days to sell their products and services to consumers at their farm, or like last summer, which I'll talk a little bit about, they could sell them through FARMZY, some of those products as well. So to launch FARMZY last summer, we partnered with the Alberta Open Farm Days team, and the government of Alberta had to be the official booking partner for this event last August. So with gathering restrictions during COVID, Alberta Open Farm Days, I'll just call them AOFD because it's a long name, and AOFD is just the abbreviated form that we refer to. The AOFD needed to find a way to limit the number of guests visiting a farm at one specific time. And this is exactly what FARMZY could provide. So the organizing team for the event reached out to us in early June of last year, and to see if this might be possible for us to get this together in time. And with FARMZY, farms could set their guest limit availability, like I previously mentioned, and they could set it for specific times throughout the weekend. So guests would continue to book available spots for different time slots that the farms made available. And as guests would book them, they'd become filled, and the platform kept track of all reservations and guest limits so that the farm didn't have to worry about that at all and manually keeping track of numbers. And we did have a big time crunch to get our platform up and running in time for the event. And we were working against the clock to ensure we had all these features that were going to be required to make sure that AOFD had everything it needed for the event to proceed safely with COVID. So we definitely had some challenges and hiccups leading up to the event, and as we were launching, as all startups do. But overall, we felt the weekend and the platform in relation to the weekend was a big success. And FARMZY had over 9,500 bookings in that 2-day event. Excited to say that after that successful launch, we are looking to be the booking platform for Alberta Open Farm Days in 2021 as well. So that's going to be great.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
That's so awesome. So you guys FARMZY is for all of Alberta, correct?
Yes, it is.
It's all, and just on that note, it's for all of Alberta, and we're focusing on the Alberta marketplace right now. But ultimately, we see this having potential beyond the Alberta border. Agritourism is starting to heat up in Western Canada and throughout Canada in general, and a big part of the States. It's becoming quite big too. So we want to focus on Alberta right now. We're Alberta farmers and we love Alberta, but ultimately we would hope that this could be picked up by farms in BC and Saskatchewan, and that they could take advantage of the platform as well.
For sure. And on that note, what do you guys see as the potential for agritourism in Alberta? Is it growing? What's your sense on that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And, and that was part of why, in looking at that, is why we created FARMZY, because we believe that agritourism is just getting started in Alberta and Canada. Because I know we've talked a little bit about the people that we've met through university and some people who haven't experienced a farm before, but consumers are craving authentic, fun experiences now more than ever. And these COVID restrictions over the past year have only highlighted this. And a few fun stats that we've looked at over the years around agritourism, especially in relation to Alberta Open Farm Days, is participation in total farm visit sales volume and how they've just been steadily picking up steam. In 2019, there were over 150 participating farms for AOFD weekend, compared to just 41 in 2013. And in that same time period, the weekend sales of AOFD have grown from 20,000 to over 260,000 in one weekend alone. And that's $260,000 that goes directly into these farmers' pockets. And the farm visits have grown during that time as well, from 3,000 to over 43,000 in 2019. And this is just one weekend we're looking at in terms of these stats. So it's also looking like international travel restrictions are still going to be in place this summer at some level, right? So we're anticipating the demand for agritourism experiences to increase even further as these consumers are looking for things to do and see with their families closer to home. Despite all these encouraging facts that we're talking about, we still think that agritourism and this space is an untapped revenue source for farms. And consumers are starting to become aware that there are now ways to experience and learn about these farms throughout the province and beyond the province. But on top of that, they're more than willing to pay for these experiences too, as they realize there's great value in them. So we've found that, the traditional farm approach is that farms are kind and considerate, or farmers are, and that's our grandparents and parents, and they want to give time and energy to all those who are interested in this stuff. So they undervalue themselves in terms of their time and what their experience might be worth to consumers. So over the past few years, we've heard this feedback from farms and consumers that are not only are people willing to pay for agritourism, but they're thanking the farms after for having an opportunity to come out and participate in the farm experience or a tour or whatever it is the farm might be offering. So we're really hoping that FARMZY will only continue to speed up this growth and demand for agritourism experiences and ultimately facilitate the connection between farm hosts and guests. That's the idea.
Yeah, for sure. And I was talking with Indigenous Tourism Alberta last week for the podcast, and one of their tourism stats is that people are now looking for transformative experiences. They used to just be looking for a destination, and then they were looking for some education, and now they're looking for transformative experiences. And farms can really offer that, because you're learning something, and it's something that you can take home with you. And maybe you start looking at where your food comes from in the grocery store. Maybe you start looking for Canada grown stuff or Alberta grown stuff when you're in the grocery store, and maybe you start thinking about your food a little bit more. And that's a really cool thing. And especially during COVID, farms can really offer going out into the country and having a safe space to hang out with lots of room, right? So that's a really awesome thing.
Yeah, we certainly believe that FARMZY is part of that transformative tourism. People are looking for, like you said, more than just a destination. They're looking for an experience and an adventure. That's why we put that in our tagline. And they're looking to have fun, and if you can add some education components into that as well. At the end of the day, it becomes a total package and a total experience. And that's what we feel like so many farms out there can provide to people in so many ways. And so I would feel like we're definitely a part of that transformative tourism experience. And that was certainly a part of our research as well in the couple of years leading up to our launch, and that we saw that this is what people were starting to look for.
For sure. And I think too, I guess a lot of people will be coming from urban areas, just like in Alberta, right? Trying to look for farms around them and where they can go. But I think too, people from farther away will start looking for those farm experiences as well. I know when I went to the East Coast with my friend a couple years ago, we specifically were looking for farms to go to and just to learn about agriculture out there a little bit too, which is really neat. So
yeah, absolutely. I think people from towns and cities are definitely interested in this, but so are people from rural communities or fellow farmers. It's a great opportunity to go out and see another farm and the things that they're doing differently, or the type of so there's so many different farms that farmers can learn so much through agritourism as well. And just in speaking to other farmers, there's a big interest in that too. A lot of farmers, farming's in their blood, and that's what they know and love to do. So, when they have some time off, they're going to take the time to go and see another farm versus go camping or go to the beach. So, we think that this is really for everyone.
Yeah, you can't beat farmer to farmer learning, or checking out other people's operations and having that network component for farmers too.
Yeah, absolutely. So much information shared that way.
Mm-hmm. And that too builds relationships in the community if farmers are networking with each other, and that can help build the experiences as well.
Yeah, we feel like the cluster approach is something that's going to be really important moving forward as well. So if there are a number of farms in a certain area that can offer their own experiences and people can kind of go visit them all in one day, that would really help an area to take off, and all of those individual experiences to take off as well. So we hope that people will, tell their neighbors if they're going to start an experience on FARMZY and create a listing, tell the neighbors, and ultimately we feel like that's a great thing about agritourism. It's not about competition. There's no need to compete with their neighbors on this. People will come and visit both, or if they don't make it to one of the farms, they'll probably go to that farm the next time. So we love that approach to it, and that it does not need to be competitive in that way. And clusters of farms are going to be a great way for this to take off in certain areas.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I really want to connect you guys with the Food Artisans of Camrose County group. I sit on that local food committee, and I'm just picturing a couple farms in my head that this would be really perfect for. So, and that's a great group that already has some networking and collaboration going on. So it would be really easy to add into FARMZY.
Yeah, that would be great. We'd appreciate the connection or introduction, and be really happy to have a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm. That would be really cool, I think. This is going to be more of a fun question, and I want each of you to answer it. What is your favorite agritourism experience that you have been a part of? It could be anywhere.
Okay, well, I'll start that off, and Graham might have another idea. But we really enjoyed being a host farm for Alberta Open Farm Days in the past, and that was our own farm, of course, and not one that we were off experiencing. But that really gave us a firsthand look at how the event worked and demonstrated the demand for these experiences. But I think my answer would be that our favorite agritourism experience in general has been creating FARMZY and being the official booking platform for AOFD in 2020, because that really was an agritourism experience, and a really big one. And it allowed us to connect with and learn about so many great farms throughout the province. So we worked closely with the organizing team at AOFD, but then had individual conversations with a number of participating farms. And learned so much from these participating farms in these conversations and what was important to them in creating their own agritourism experiences. And it was through this experience that we were able to gather so much feedback from these farms and from consumers to see how we could tweak the platform so that we could make it better going forward. And for me, Matt hit the nail on the head with that first experience last year, launching FARMZY. That was amazing. And then another one I can think of is, and I mentioned it earlier, was when we had a small farm to fork event through school, and it was through some of my classmates that came out, and it was a very international group. And what was cool, like I said, was that we had someone from every continent represented there on our small Graff family farm, and so it was. I remember this family from Brazil that was there. They brought out their kids too, and so it was the kids, for instance, were saying they had just moved, or they moved here for school, and ultimately they couldn't speak English, but showing them around was kind of a universal language. And ultimately, one way to say it is when you break bread with people or have a meal of food with people and are able to showcase what we grow right here in Alberta was really cool to be able to show people from all over the world, even if it was just a few, but they're going to go back and tell people from home about their experience at our farm. So that was a favorite for sure. And
That's really special.
Sorry to interrupt you, Megan, but one other thing I was just going to add, because I know we've talked about open farm days and our farm and a few of those experiences that we've had there, but we're also, in terms of an agritourism experience off of our farm, we're quite excited to go check out Vermeer Dairy next week. We checked out the podcast that you had with Jake recently, and we've been in touch with him, and so we've set up a time to have a tour with Jake next Wednesday. So really looking forward to meeting Jake, and after our conversation with him and having a tour of Vermeer Dairy, as we think that's going to be really interesting.
Oh, great. That's awesome. I love going to Jake's farm. And we actually have a youth leadership program here at CRE, and we took our youth leadership committee there. And I was surprised to see how much of the students just love being around the cows. I wasn't expecting it because there's only a few of them that are from our farm. And so, yeah, Jake is a really great tour guide, and he has some really special stuff going on at his farm in terms of animal care. And so, yeah, enjoy. It's going to be great. I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. And we know that we've heard some feedback from people who have taken tours there, and they just love it. And I think it's becoming a pretty popular thing to do. So he's doing a lot of tours there, we hear, which is really cool.
Yeah, and his U-Pick was really great last year, which I know they're expanding. So, and yeah, that was another cool story of just people during COVID wanting to get out, and, you know, even just picking their own corn is a treat and a fun little outing. So
absolutely,
that's what farms can offer people.
Yes, a way for people to get out of the city, get out in the country, and yeah, have an adventure is what we're hoping people can get through FARMZY.
For sure. And even just in Camrose County, there's so many great opportunities and so many cool farms to visit, and the diversity of farms, even just in the county, is really awesome and pretty cool. So I don't think you can ever get bored of going to visit farms.
We definitely agree with that. And, you know, we hear that through Alberta Open Farm Days too, because people will kind of map out and plan out their day so that they can see a number of farms in that day. They'll take their family out and go see these farms, and they might see 3, 4, 5 farms in a day, and each of them is so different, and they're getting to experience something that's fun on each of these farms and learn something a little bit different. So Camrose County, there's so much going on and so many great farms that can offer consumers so many different products and experiences.
Is there, this question just came to my head, is there something that municipalities can do to help foster agritourism in their area? Is there any bylaws or anything that make it easier? Is there anything that the counties can do?
I'm not sure if we know of any bylaws that any municipalities have put in place to necessarily help agritourism, but we certainly know that municipalities across the province have put an emphasis on agritourism in the last number of years. And so we actually have recently reached out to a number of these municipalities and destination marketing organizations to see if they can help promote us and ultimately put the word out about FARMZY to their membership and to farms in their area, because we believe that FARMZY can help bring value to these farms as a new way to get people out and supporting those businesses and those farms. So that's one thing they are doing, is that they are helping to promote and put on events, and we're hoping in the future get the word out about FARMZY to these farms as well.
For sure, because I have to think that bringing people out to these smaller communities and farms is also kind of a way to build back a bit of the rural population. You know what I mean? Like with people leaving small communities quite often now, this is kind of a way to show them the vibrancy that rural communities offer and just the fun that you can have out in a rural community.
Yeah, big time. And I think that we're seeing more of that people are looking to get back out to nature or connect with their roots or a farm, and there are more and more of those experiences, and we're hoping that municipalities will have more resources to promote those things, especially as there is a growing demand in that area. So that's kind of relates to the question on agritourism and the potential, and we're hoping that as time goes on, that we're going to see more of these opportunities, and especially with COVID, people are looking for ways to get out of the city and kind of away from the hustle and bustle where there's lots of people who are in one place, and get back to nature. And it's a great way to be outside and have a great time with your family or friends.
For sure. I want to ask a question just about kind of new farmers, and you guys are fifth generation farmers. Do you find that a lot of agritourism operations are generational farms, or is there quite a few first generation farms opening up for agritourism?
We would say there's a good mix of both, actually. The older generational farms, such as ours, are out there, and I guess I'll start with saying that for the new generational farms, this whole idea of agritourism actually isn't as foreign to some of the farms like ours that are older. And so, for instance, we see these newer farms have these great Instagram followings, and they're really good at promoting themselves and getting their name out there. Whereas I think for older farms, that hasn't been as natural to do. And so I think that there are both, but I think it almost seems like it comes more natural to some of these newer farms that are, say, 1 or 2 generations old, and they kind of are coming with new ideas, new thoughts, and we certainly see that on Instagram with some of the things they're doing, and they've just been so good at promoting themselves, marketing, and creating a following that way.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I think the first generation farmers or newer farmers almost have a bit of advantage because they were just recently only consumers. And so they have stuff that they didn't know before, and they can easily share that with consumers because they get it. Whereas generational farmers, they have just been brought up in farming, and it's just kind of is normal to them. And so they don't think necessarily what they do is cool, or that, oh, that would be interesting. I think it's just ingrained in generational farmers of what they do.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And with the generational farms too, not all of them, but sometimes the agritourism experience might be something that they're offering in addition to their primary form of production. And so whereas these newer folks to farming, like, this is what they're focused on. That's what they got into it for. They might have a small U-pick or some animals, and they're new to this, so they're almost more relatable to some of the consumers who are coming out. So, but yeah, as far as the interest in FARMZY and interest in agritourism, we're seeing from both sets for sure.
Awesome. Well, if people are interested in FARMZY after listening to this, how can they find you? How can they get a hold of you? Yeah,
so a number of different ways to do that. They can check out farmzy.ca, so just www.farmzy.ca, or you can follow us on Instagram, which is at farmzy.ca. You can reach out to us via email at info@farmzy.ca, and we've done a lot of coordination with farms through email, and then we're happy to set up a call with you and even come out and check out the farm.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're certainly happy to talk about past success stories with these farms and swap ideas around what might work well for their operation, and give them ideas of what they can list.
Great, that's awesome. Well, is there anything else you guys want to add?
I don't think so. There's been some great questions this morning, Megan, and covered a lot of areas about farming and agritourism. And we really appreciate the time that you've taken to get us some good questions and for us to be able to talk about FARMZY. And we're passionate about this, and we're excited about agritourism. And it's through opportunities like this that we're going to help build this platform and the community that we want to build. So thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you guys for talking this morning about agritourism. I think it is, just a cool area of tourism in Alberta and Canada, and something that I think people are looking for right now. So the more we can get the word out, the better.
Yeah, we think it's an up and coming industry for sure. So we're excited to be a part of it and be promoting Canadian agriculture. So if anyone listening knows a farm that would have a great agritourism experience to offer, please send them our way.
All right, this is awesome. So before I let you guys go, I just wanted to let you know I do have 2 Indigenous Tourism Alberta episodes that will come out ahead of yours. And we have some cattle sales going on right now, so we're a little bit behind in editing. But
no problem.
We will send out the audio and the graphics and all that stuff when we get it out, and we'll make sure to tag you on everything. And I'm excited to have this come out, and I really would like to connect you with the Food Artisans group. So we just started doing networking over Zoom or GoToMeeting once a month with them. And so I think it would be a cool thing to do 1 month where to have you guys come on as a speaker and just have it for anybody who's interested in FARMZY, because we are having quite a few of the producers start on farm stores or on farm experiences. So I think it would be really good for them to talk to you.
We'd really appreciate that opportunity to be a speaker at any of those events. And I know that so this is the Food Artisans of Camrose County, right, Megan?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, and that's great. We were recently connecting with someone who had written a book on Food Artisans of Alberta, and so maybe some of those same people within the Camrose County are in that book too. But yeah, we'd appreciate that opportunity for sure.
Yeah, there is a really great book. And we I think when the committee was built, they really liked the name Food Artisans, and so kind of stole it off that book a little bit. But our group is specifically Camrose County. They have to be paying Camrose County taxes to be a part of it. But our listing, I want to say it's like over 60 producers, processors, and growers in the county.
Oh, nice. That's a good size.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in Camrose County and local food. This is a land of plenty.
We'd love to get more this whole agritourism thing going in our county for sure. As we're from the area as well, and so that would be an even big bonus to get it going right in the Camrose County as well.
Yeah, just kind of have it as a jumping off point. And so many of them already work so closely together, like CSAs, they have products from like 6 different farms, and like they're really collaborating with each other. And so they would be a really cool, I think, group to have like those group tours going on. Like, I think it would be really easy to implement it with this group if that's something you guys were trying to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'd be really happy to have a conversation with them.
For sure.
And thanks for pointing out that your account is Prairie Heart Farm. Megan. That's great. No, we do follow you. We didn't realize that was you. So thanks for pointing that out. And if there's anything that we can do for you as far as that business, let us know. I'm not sure if there's any potential for you to have a listing through us at all for a one-off event or a weekly type of thing. Let us know. That would be something we could definitely chat about.
Yeah,
for sure. I will have to think about it. My situation is a little bit more complicated because I'm not farming on my own land. It's a little small plot on a family friend's farm, And so I'm just a little tiny piece of it, which is actually a kind of a cool thing to have agriculture working together like that, a big farm and a small farm.
That is, yeah.
And they just transitioned their farm, and so their youngest son is taking it over. And like they have kind of talked about doing open farm days because they have some cool stuff going on their farm. They have a little tree farm, they're a grain farm, they have the solar panels going on, they have hops growing up some of their bins, and the middle brother is Ben Ricks from Bent Stick Beer out of Edmonton.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
they have a really lot of cool components going on at that farm. And so it would be, I think, a really great fit for open farm days. It's just if we can make it happen, I think.
Yeah, so much to offer there. So, but no, we respect that you need to have a conversation and see what might be possible there as far as you being able to host a tour or an event of some kind. So we can be in touch about that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I do get people all the time asking to come to the flower farm, and I've kind of kept it at bay a little bit just because I'm also working full time, so I'm actually not at the farm that much.
Right.
So,
You're pretty busy, yeah. But it sounds like there could be potential there for, if depending on your relationship with that farming family, to host a tour there where it would be their farm, and of course your flower farm would be a component of it. So that would be, sounds like some potential there for sure.
It's definitely something that's been mentioned because a couple years ago they became a century farm in Alberta. So I think they're a fifth generation farm as well. And they did like just a long table dinner for the family, and everybody really loved it. And it was just a super cool day and a cool celebration. And so I think from there, Merlin, who would be, I'm going to call her the matriarch of the farm, she has mentioned a couple times like it would be cool to have open farm days. But they also have Dexter cows, they have a miniature donkey. It's just kind of a really cool farm going on, and so it would be cool to have on there. So yeah, I'll talk to them a little bit more and see what we can do.
Yeah, please do, and get in touch with us anytime with any questions about that.
For sure. Well, thank you, Matt and Graham, for this conversation. This has been so awesome. I won't keep you from your day anymore, but yeah, this has been awesome, and we'll be in touch for sure.
Agreed. Yeah. Thank you, Megan, for the time and for the conversation this morning. It was great. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Looking forward to promoting it too when it comes out.
For sure. Me too. All right. You guys have a good rest of your day.
Okay. You too. Take care.
Thanks, Megan.
Bye.
Welcome to the Rural Opportunities Podcast, where we talk about all things rural. This podcast is put on by the Camrose Regional Exhibition. We are an agriculture society and we are community builders. We have a long, rich history of rural community and agriculture involvement. CRE believes in the power of rural communities and that they are vital to the prosperity of our province and beyond. On this podcast, we talk about rural opportunities and challenges and have conversations with the movers and shakers of rural. Thank you for joining us. If you like what you're hearing, make sure to subscribe on YouTube or follow us on whatever podcast channel you're listening to.